Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another Monday This and That vlog where I talk about all kinds of different topics, answering questions that have come in the past week, giving you updates on whatever is going on in the garden with the chickens, and leading you back to some videos I may already have out that can give you more information. So let's get to the topics of today, starting with the raspberry leaves. So I just had a short come out this past week on raspberry leaves, and a lot of times when I put those shorts out there, just so you understand, oftentimes it is to just kind of let you know of recipes I already have out, videos I already have out that go into more details on that. So I always provide a link in the description box on the video screen itself, because I figured out how you can do that, and that one is definitely a clickable link. And when I get a chance, I try to also put it in a pinned comment in the short. So I do have a video out on the benefits of raspberry leaves. Now, the funny thing is those of you who know that I'm giving my garden a sabbatical rest, which means I didn't plant any annuals. And as far as my perennials go, anything that's coming up on its own is something that I try to use as it's coming in, rather than putting anything up. But for the sake of that little short, I wanted to get a couple more pictures, so I did gather a bunch of raspberry leaves to dehydrate. But since I'm not going to be putting them up for myself, I'm going to be gifting these to my friend. But anyway, that's what I have here. So I'm going to be linking in the description box down below the video I did last year on the benefits of raspberry leaves. Now you may be asking, but what about blackberry leaves? Yep, those have benefits too. And there's a lot of crossovers and similarities to raspberry leaves, but they each have their own that are a little bit unique. And so I have a video on blackberry leaves as well. And there's all kinds of other edible leaves, such as strawberry leaves, grape leaves, mango leaves, and so much more. And I have a lot more videos to do on these various things. So what I'm going to do is just link to the full playlist titled Herbs and More Benefits and Uses, where I have all those videos therein. So you can go to that playlist link, and then you'll see a list of all the videos, and just scroll through there and find the ones you're most interested in. So you can find the one on the raspberry leaves, the one on the blackberry leaves, the one on strawberry leaves, grape leaves, and so much more. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up now because some of you are probably already past that point, but a lot of you are probably in the similar climate to us, where your raspberries, usually raspberries around here aren't ripe until at least the earliest 4th of July, and then later on, and then blackberries are later. And so you want to be gathering your leaves of any of these plants before your plants start to flower. That's where you're going to get the best benefits. That doesn't mean you can't use them past that point. It's just that during that time, most of the energy is going into the leaves before it starts to flower. Once your plants start to flower and start putting on fruit is when then all the energy is going, or most of the energy is going into the flowers and the fruit. And of course the seed, because it's wanting to reproduce itself. Now, a lot of your different plants like that will also, once the fruiting is done, start putting on a bunch of new leaves. And then you can harvest those as well and get pretty similar benefits. Not all of them will do that. They're all going to vary. So anyway, let's move on to the honeysuckle vinegar. I wanted to show that I got started. Now, this isn't just honeysuckle. I did throw a few pansies in there, and also some fuchsia flowers. I threw a few of those in there just to kind of deepen the color, since I don't have roses blooming yet or anything else of a nice deep color, because I like having a nice pretty colored vinegar, and not that that matters. But fuchsias are also good for your skin, as are the honeysuckle, which I also have a video on honeysuckle that's in that playlist I mentioned. And today I'm going to be shooting a video on the benefits of fuchsia, but that won't be up for about another month. So anyway, one thing to know is that pretty much any herb or flower that's good for your skin is also going to be beneficial to your hair. And, plus it's good for your scalp. And so this is why I like to use these kind of vinegars for washing my hair with. And I do have a video coming out soon on how I use vinegar for my hair, because I get asked that a lot. Even though I've covered it in my hair care videos, a couple different ones, I did one specifically on the types of vinegar I like to use for my hair, as well as how I use it in my hair. I use it for a wash and or conditioning rinse. Most days, that's all I do is just use vinegar in my hair. I put it in my hair, it's diluted down, and then I leave it on while I'm scrubbing up, and then I rinse it out. And most days I don't use any kind of soap. Sometimes I do. Maybe once every other week now is probably the most I use soap in my hair. So of any kind. And usually, and that's going to be a good natural soap, most likely my homemade soap or the Dr. Jacobs soap that I really like, because they have some really nice natural and great smelling Castile soaps. They're similar to Dr. Bronner's, but I like Dr. Jacobs better. I always have a link to them in my description box. And my two favorites for scent are the Lavender Clary Sage and the Sensual Manoi. Those are so great. They make my hair smell so nice. But again, maybe only once every couple of weeks. So anyway, that's what's going on here. If you're interested in learning how to make vinegar, I'll link to my vinegar making video down below, where I also talk about all the many things you can make vinegar out of, because you can make vinegar out of anything that's edible, pretty much. So, because people say, well, can I make vinegar out of this? Can I make vinegar out of that? Well, if you can eat it, yes. I just say don't make vinegar out of anything. It's toxic. Because, you know, even if you're using it on your hair or to clean with, you're just going to be better off sticking with things that are safe. Okay, and then another thing that happened this last week is on YouTube and on Instagram and on X, I posted a photo of my mullein so far this year. So a couple of years ago, I think it's been almost 2 years ago, I did a video on mullein where I talked about the benefits, which will also be found in that playlist I'm providing. And at the time, I still had not got mullein to grow successfully for me. And I know some people that live in places, especially drier places, where mullein is practically a noxious weed because it's invasive and takes over everything, have a hard time understanding that there are places around the world where mullein does not grow naturally. And when you live in a place that gets tons and tons of rain, because you live in rain country, right next to a rain forest, mullein is not something that commonly grows here. So trying to get it to grow can be quite difficult. So I tried for years. Then I had a friend who brought a plant over from Eastern Washington, where mullein grows like a weed. And she brought over her planters, is what she did, her pots that still had the soil in them, and didn't realize that some of the mullein seed from her plants that she had in the ground had fallen into these pots. And so those pots sat here through the winter. They started to grow, and she was so excited to see, oh, I actually ended up bringing mullein over and I didn't even realize it. And so then when that mullein flowered, she gave me some of the seeds. So because those had been acclimated to our area, I was able to finally not just get it to sprout like previously and then just die. They sprouted and they grew, and I have 5 plants right now. I had 7, 2 of them didn't make it through our very wet winter, but the other ones are doing just fine. So here's a couple of pictures so far, and it looks like I will be getting flowers this year off at least maybe 3 of them. So I'm pretty excited about that. But anyway, I posted a picture and people were asking, well, how did you get it to grow for you? Because apparently we're not the only area that has issues getting mullein to grow. Well, that was the key. It was getting seeds from a plant that had already been acclimated to this area. And I do believe that in most cases, a lot of times just starting seeds in pots indoors, especially if you're in a cooler climate and it's a plant that likes warmer, drier climates, give it time to develop. Now, the problem with the mullein I had tried before is I had it in the greenhouse in in pots, and it sprouted, and then it just sat there. And then eventually they just died. And that happened 2 or 3 times. So it was really great to see this one, just these seeds, they took off, they sprouted, they kept growing, they didn't die. So that's my tips there. If you're trying to grow anything in your area that, especially if it's something that does not grow like a weed, then you got to try to see if you can find somebody that is growing it and see if you can either barter for some seed from their plants, that are in your area, or even just buy some seeds from them. And they may even just give them to you, like my friend did. And now, another thing I wanted to talk about is that, so some of you might have seen the video that I remastered from 2016 that we shot. It was an interview that Patrick did with his dad here in our dining room. And I had been thinking, even before everything that happened, I had been thinking I should take that video and remaster it, clean it up, try to make the picture brighter, because it was just using our old camcorder. The picture wasn't great. The sound wasn't great, and I could probably, improve the sound. I'd already thought about doing that. And then I went ahead and did it. And I thought, this was just really fun to do. Then what happened is I realized my old video I did on the jet fueled latte, not the old one, that one's still up here, but the one I did on the update, the 2.0 version, I had mentioned a substance just offhand in that video that is now a taboo subject on YouTube. It wasn't back then, but it is now. So I realized, oh my goodness, I better take this video down, because YouTube had just removed another one of my videos that I forgot about, where I talked about that particular item. I figured I'd better take this video down and remove that and then just put it back up. And then of course, while I was at it, since it was an older video, I wanted to improve the lighting and the sound. And so I worked on that, added some more pictures, and then re-uploaded it. Now, it hasn't published yet. It's going to publish in a couple of weeks or so. Anyway, that was really fun to do. And I'm like, I should go back and see if there aren't some other videos that would be really great to redo, clean them up, streamline them, brighten the picture, the sound, and more. Add some more photos and video clips and whatnot, just to make it a better video and give it a boost again. And so what I've got going on, and this has been really fun, is I'm taking some of these older videos. It's either later this month or in July where it starts. There every Wednesday I'm going to be publishing a remastered video. So in those videos I'm going to have more information as well, added in text. I've gone back and added written recipes, like to the jet fueled latte. I didn't have a written recipe supplied in the description box, but in that one I will. And just making them better all the way around. And this has been really nice because it saved me time and having to reshoot the videos, because things have been super crazy around here, a lot busier. And I'm not having the same amount of time lately to shoot videos like I normally would, just with so many different things happening and coming up. So that is a way that I can keep putting videos out, but taking these older videos and just making them better. Since the information is still good, I might just want to add a little bit more. And that includes redoing the first 3 videos in my patchwork skirt making series, because I started changing things and doing things different. And then there were some videos where it's like, why is all this in here? This doesn't even need to be in here. Let's streamline this so it's not such a long video with a bunch of stuff that didn't need to be in there. So that's what's going on. I've actually been having fun. It's still actually a lot of work doing that kind of editing, but at least I didn't have to shoot the video. I didn't have that time involved, setting up the camera and lights and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, just expect to see that. And I know I'm covered clear up until every Wednesday, clear up until the end of August with these remastered videos. And I'll probably still go through and see if there's any more really good ones that I thought were really good videos that I think need to be out there again. Because with doing this for almost 8 years now and so many more new people, you'd have no idea those videos are out there unless you heard about them, went and searched for it, or I linked you back to it. Now, I did want to say something about my last faith-based video. I just want people to understand, I feel like I owe some people an apology, because I know one lady took one of my comments or replies to her comment as being snarky. And then she deleted her whole comment before I could even reply. And I didn't even get to read her whole comment. I just saw part of it because it was in the notification. So I was, how it is, you only get to see part of it. And she said, you did seem to sound a little snarky. And that was not my intention. So if she's watching this, I want to apologize, because I didn't even get a chance to do that. But I also want people to understand that when I get people on such videos, you got to remember, we're only looking at text. We're not seeing a person's face. We're not hearing their inflections. So I'm often very suspicious at what people are trying to get at, because in those kind of videos and others, a lot of times people are baiting you in so they can attack you for something. I've seen it. Remember, I've been doing this for almost 8 years. I've seen it time and time and time again. It's not just on faith related things, but other things, natural remedies and so on. And I've come to recognize a lot of times I'm spot on. Sometimes I'll still reply to certain people thinking, okay, maybe they're really not trying to bait me in. Maybe I should give them the benefit of the doubt. So I answer their question just to find out, yeah, they were baiting me in so they could attack me. And so sometimes I'm going to be very reserved in my answers and try to be very careful in what I say, and just because I'm not sure the direction somebody's trying to go. Are they asking an honest question, or are they just baiting me in so they can attack me? And so if I come across as snarky or rude, that is not my intention. Just understand, I am not, when I sound that way, it's probably because I simply am not sure where you're coming from. And I'm just trying to be very short and careful and making sure, okay, not trying to be rude. So I apologize if I sound that way, but a lot of times I think other people sound snarky, and then come to find out that's not how they meant it. And that goes right along too with the freeze dryer thing. I know there was a lady that came in and she was joking around. And please understand, I know you were joking when you said that. I know you hate freeze dryers. But I also know there's people out there that really get angry at me anytime I say anything about not being interested in a freeze dryer. They get really angry and bent out of shape. And so they would see that and they would jump on that. And that's why I wanted to make it clear. I've never said I hated freeze dryers, and I most certainly have never said and have never felt any animosity towards people who have one. I don't know why people want to go there, but I don't. And I just want to make that clear. And so when, I comment, it's only a lot of times when I comment under other people's comments or reply, it's to make sure I'm clarifying to anyone else who's coming in and reading those comments where I really stand, even if the person's just joking and I know that, and I know this person was just kidding around. They're a good person. They've been interacting, always had great comments. And I just did that for the sake of the other people reading, not to admonish that person, because I understood where they were coming from, and that was no big deal. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to put that out there, try to get people to understand where I'm coming from. And please know, I do try to be understanding, but sometimes any of us can read something wrong, and I've done it many times, or just not fully understand where somebody's coming from when they say things a certain way. It's really hard to tell what their intentions are. And so I'm very careful. I'm very not sure where to go with some things. So anyway, that's it for my this and that for the week. Don't forget, if you're new to how YouTube or Rumble works, that you will find the description box below the video screen. However, you have to actually take the next step and open it. So on YouTube, it will say ... more, and you click on that. And on Rumble, it will say show more. And if you don't see either one of those right below the video screen, just keep scrolling down until you find it. Because on Rumble, typically they'll put a banner ad. Sometimes on YouTube, you'll see a little banner ad just below the screen. Not always, but sometimes. But on Rumble, it's more common. So you got to scroll past those until you see those words more or show more, and click on that. It'll open the whole description box to find all the links and other information and even written recipes that we provide therein. So I hope you enjoyed my this and that for the week. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.